66% every single year for 30 years. No losing years, not one. Warren Buffett averages 20. The best hedge funds on earth average 30. This man averaged 66, and almost nobody knows his name. His name was Jim Simons, and what he built in secret is the most successful trading machine in the history of financial markets. Jim Simons was not a trader. He was a mathematician. Before he ever placed a single trade, he was solving problems that most people could not even read. He worked in differential geometry. He cracked codes for the United States government during the Cold War. He built one of the most respected mathematics departments in the country at Stony Brook University. Wall Street was not his world. Numbers were his world. And that difference, that distance from the finance industry, turned out to be his greatest advantage. In 1978, Simons walked away from one of the most respected mathematics careers in the country. He gave up tenure. He gave up the title. He gave up the certainty. And he went to trade markets. His first years were a disaster. He made decisions based on instinct. He made macro bets. He lost money the same way every other amateur loses money. Emotionally, inconsistently, painfully. But something would not let him quit. Because he had seen something. A pattern in the price data that should not have been there. Something too consistent to be random. Too small for anyone else to notice. And he could not stop thinking about it. Renaissance Technologies was unlike anything Wall Street had ever seen. Simons did not hire traders. He hired mathematicians, physicists, cryptographers, astronomers, computer scientists. People who had never worked in finance and had no interest in learning its traditions. He wanted people trained to find hidden structure inside noise, because that is exactly what markets are. Noise with structure buried inside. The office looked more like a university research lab than a hedge fund. And that was entirely intentional. What Simons built inside Renaissance was not a trading strategy. It was something closer to a living system. The Medallion Fund did not think the way a trader thinks. It did not have opinions. It did not have fear. It did not panic in 2008 when every bank on earth was collapsing. It simply processed data, found its edge, placed its bet, and moved on. Thousands of times a day. In markets most traders had never even heard of. The people who built it described it as a machine that had learned to see things human beings simply cannot see. And even they did not fully understand everything it was doing. Let that number sit for a moment. 66% every year for 30 years. If you had invested $1,000 in Medallion in 1988 and left it untouched, by 2018, that money would have grown to over $400 million. Not millions, hundreds of millions. From $1,000. The 2008 financial crisis, the worst market collapse since the Great Depression, Medallion made 80% that year. While the world was burning, the machine kept winning. When you joined Renaissance, you signed away your right to speak. Not for 5 years, not for 10, forever. You could never work for a competitor. You could never describe what you had seen. You could never publish a paper, give a lecture, or even hint at what happened inside those walls. The code was stored on servers that were never connected to the outside internet. The models were compartmentalized, so that no single person held the full picture. Simons did not just build a trading machine. He built a fortress around it. Because he understood that in this game, the secret was the product. Inside Renaissance, the culture was unlike anything Wall Street had ever produced. Employees were paid extraordinary sums, but only if they stayed. Leave early, and you left most of the money behind. The fund was closed to outside investors entirely. Simons was not managing money for clients. He was managing money for himself and for the people who built the machine with him. That decision alone set Renaissance apart from every other firm. There was no pressure to perform for quarterly reports, no investor calls, no redemptions, just the work, just the data, just the relentless pursuit of a better model. People who joined Renaissance did not leave, because nothing on the outside came close to what they had built on the inside. Outside the fund, Simons was a different kind of man entirely. He gave away billions. He funded mathematics education across the United States. He supported research into autism, into the origins of life, into the fundamental nature of the universe. He believed that the same rigorous thinking that cracked the market could crack the deepest problems in science. The Simons Foundation became one of the largest private funders of basic scientific research in the world. He was not just a man who made money, he was a man who believed that the right kind of thinking, patient, precise, data-driven, could solve almost anything. And he spent his fortune trying to prove it. What makes Jim Simons so difficult to fully understand is that he does not fit any category we already have. He was not a Wall Street trader. He was not a Silicon Valley founder. He was not a traditional philanthropist. He was a mathematician who looked at the world differently and refused to accept that markets were beyond understanding. Where others saw chaos, he saw a problem waiting to be solved. Where others trusted their gut, he trusted his models. Where others chased fame, he chose silence. That combination, intellectual obsession, institutional discipline, and complete indifference to public approval, is extraordinarily rare. And it produced results that may never be repeated. Jim Simons retired in 2010. By then, he was worth over $10 billion. Not from one great trade, not from one lucky year, from a system he spent decades building in silence. He never appeared on financial television. He never wrote a book about his method. He never sold a course. He simply built something that worked, protected it completely, and let the results speak for themselves. He died in 2024 at the age of 86, the greatest trader who ever lived, and most of the world never knew his name. If you made it to the end of this story, you already think differently than most people. That curiosity is worth something. Hit subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.